Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Jack Catterall wins it's a 7-round technical decision, unanimous over Harlem Eubank. And before I go any further, this fight was stopped, I think, 1 or 2 seconds, 1 second maybe into the 7th round. And yet they count the 7th round when they're totting up the scores. I mean, how ludicrous is that? I've never understood that rule. But anyway, he did win quite a wide decision, a 7-round decision. The fight was stopped because there was this almighty clash of heads. I mean, they did ram into each other. Harlem Eubank had a very bad cut over his left eye. And I think that's why the fight was stopped. But it was deep. It was a sort of deep dig right into the, right deep into the eyebrow. Whereas Jack had a huge rip, it may not have been as deep, but it looked more dramatic because it was right across, like a tear across the right eyebrow. So the fight was stopped. And neither man seemed happy about the fight being stopped, but Catterall did deserve the decision. But look, this was a really frustrating, scrappy, almost chaotic fight. I didn't enjoy it at all. I think Jack Catterall is very, very dull to watch. He's very good at what he does. There's an effective method to what he does. He's a southpaw. He'll, lead with wave the right hand around. Lots and lots of continual feints. He's quite an aggressive counterpuncher in that his feet do move him forward, but he edges forward. But he waves this southpaw, not even a jab. It's just like a rangefinder. And then when the opponent jumps in, he'll clobber him with either a hook or usually with the backhand, the left hand backhand. Harlem Eubank, conventional orthodox fighter. He was undefeated going in, 21 wins, but he only had 9 KOs. And he has scored, I think, 3 inside the distance victories in his last 4 against, reasonable domestic level opposition. But Catterall, of course, has proven, whether he's entertaining or not, that he is a world-class fighter. And it's like when he lost to Barboza, I didn't really care because Catterall, it seemed to me, just gave the fight away. He just wasn't doing enough. He wasn't doing anything. He was nitpick. He's trying to pick. He pinches rounds, and yeah, I gave him the first 3. Was it? At least the first 3 in this fight. Eubank couldn't get near him, but it's unattractive to watch, and it's almost like fencing. He's sort of like a male Sky Nicholson. This guy, and yes, I mean I was outraged when he got jobbed against Josh Taylor. I mean, he clearly won that fight. He should have been undisputed 140-pound champ. He's up at 147 now with Eubank, but it doesn't mean to say I think he's an attractive fighter to watch. In my opinion, he is not. It's really, really dull watching him, and it's scrappy. And when they got in close, on two occasions, I think it was, maybe 2 or 3 occasions, they both hit the floor together, rolled around. Come on, get on with it. Well, Eubank he did sort of find, I suppose he was finding a little bit of range, but he couldn't really land anything of any weight on Catterall. Catterall was too crafty. But at the same time, Catterall wasn't really throwing that many punches himself. And you just knew something was going to happen, something stupid was going to happen. Either the fight was going to descend into this sort of really scrappy, go from being just a plain out boring chess match to being a scrappy roll around on the canvas, or they were going to clash heads because of the styles, the southpaw versus the orthodox. Catterall edging forward, and in order for Eubank to land anything, he was going to have to leap in. He's going to have to sort of, as Darren Barker said, roll the dice and just go forward and risk getting clocked, which he was beginning to do. But then they had the head clash, and the fight was called off. Now, it's kind of indicative that I wasn't fussed when it was called off. I didn't care. In fact, I didn't care who won. it was that type of fight. I couldn't get, when the fight was announced, I couldn't really get up for it. Even though I knew it was on tonight, I couldn't really get up for it. Now, the undercard was good. I'm going to do a couple of videos regarding a couple of the undercard fights, which were very, very good, very competitive, very decent. But no, this was the worst fight on the card. And Catterall, very effective at what he does, can clearly be outworked because Barbosa just seemed to want it more against Catterall. And I'm not saying Eubank didn't, but of course Barbosa had more experience, probably had faced better fighters. Then he got exposed by Teofimo Lopez, widely outpointed. Good performance by Lopez, but does Catterall belong in that upper echelon of the 140? Certainly not the 147. I mean, someone like Brian Norman Jr., I wouldn't fancy Catterall's chances against him. But Catterall can mess you around, don't get me wrong. He can mess you around for rounds. Whether it's over the full 12 or not, I'm not so sure. But no, this was a very dull fight. I didn't like it at all. I was not entertained. And to be honest with you, I don't really care if I ever see Jack Catterall or Harlem Eubank again. Harlem Eubank is a decent, probably European level fighter. Catterall, because he's effective at what he does, it's unattractive, but he is a world-class 140 pounder. 147, I'm not so sure, but no. This is the type of fight where everything was inconclusive because of the ending, but at the same time you're thinking, I don't want a rematch. I don't want to see a rematch. So maybe you disagree. Leave your comments below. Tell me what you think of this fight. I thought it was a stinker, but I don't know. You may disagree. If you do disagree, tell me why. Thanks very much for watching the video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new, because, it's your channel as much as mine. No point in me making videos if you don't watch them, is there? All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry wasn't a bit more upbeat about this fight, but that's the way it goes. You win some, you lose some. Anyway, I'll get you later. Bye for now.